Wait a minute, is that Crom from Fire Emblem Awakening?
Crom.
Oh no, what have they done to you?
Now that's comedy.
You thought you could get rid of me. So while everyone was busy being Spider-Man, I was stuck over here, being a weeb. Now do you remember that time in 2013, when during a Nintendo Direct, this image popped up on screen and it sent the internet into a frenzy? That Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem were going to get a crossover game. I mean, that sounds like heaven for the hardcore fans of both franchises, who are used to the dark, mature tones from their games. Instead we got this. So Tokyo
Mirage
Sessions FE, man that's a mouthful, turned out to be more a Persona Idol game with some Fire Emblem elements sprinkled in. And to be fair, nothing from its initial announcement led anything to suggest that it would be similar in style to SMT or FE. But this, I honestly feel the problem with crossover games is that it's hard to balance one side, and it usually becomes another Y game with X characters thrown in. But anyway, what's this one all about? Well, it starts out with a good old anime cutscenes, where a young girl watches an opera, and oh no, not the triangles! And they take everyone away except the little girl. Anyway, we get to the idol montage you see in most modern anime. We then meet our protagonist, Itsuki, and he's a dense main character. And right out of the gate, the game reminds you that yes, this is a Wii U game, complete with Nintendo console gimmicks. So since it's a modern setting, the dense boy has a phone, and all the other characters will constantly text you on every little event that happens in your life. Now sadly, my capture card couldn't record it, and I don't know if there are any that could, so here are some poorly taken photos from it. It works as kind of a reminder for what to do in the story as you read the text to see where to go or what side quest to do. But the best thing about it is the map. I mean, sure, they could have put a map on screen like a normal JRPG, but it was kind of fun having a huge screen dedicated to the map, till you get interrupted by the constant text messages. But we have more important things to show off, like... Anyway, back to the Idol concert. Wait, Utaloid? You mean Vocaloid? And is that Tiki? Wait, Tiki from Fire Emblem? Oh yeah, I forgot this is a Fire Emblem game. We'll get back to her important role in a bit. Anyway, we meet up with our friend Tsubasa. Anyway, we go to the competition to see her competing in the Idol contest with this dude as the judge. He reveals to her that she is the girl from the opening and mocks her missing sister from that incident, and then kidnaps all the contestants into the Idolosphere. You can't really make up these names. So it's up to us to jump in and save her because the Dementors are here to steal the Idol's performer. We stumble around in this new crazy place to find her in trouble while this red dude spear tackles us. But the power of main characteritis kicks in, purifies him and the other person choking her, and then we suddenly have a magical girl transformation sequence in the Fire Emblem CGI art style. Wait, what? I know it sounded like a lot to take in, but believe me, this is very run-of-the-mill stuff. And we finally get to the actual combat. Now this is truly the best part of the game. Yes, after pushing through the anime and idleness, the game hides a surprising amount of fun in the battles. Shame the voice lines aren't subtitled here, though. What are you saying, dude? Do you need water? Healing? Tell me! So the two red cloaks that we purified are Crom and Seda, Kata, two characters from Fire Emblem, and they act as the high schoolers, Jojo Stan, Blade, Malakim, Personas? Yes, they are actually their personas. Which makes sense since the battles use a lot of mechanics from the Persona games and not Fire Emblem. You got turn-based combat where you surround the enemy, normal attacks, and skills that use special points that don't regenerate. So each enemy has a Fire Emblem weapon and Persona elemental weakness. And if you can do an attack that has a type advantage, you start a session, which causes your other party members to jump in if they have the skills for it. Now this also builds up this meter on the top right, which at different levels allows your characters to do the signature move, which often have very effective bonuses. Also, they are flashy as heck. And the two Fire Emblem characters don't remember where they are from, and yada yada, you know the drill with these kinds of games. And we continue on in the dungeon to save the others from Mr. Creep. Now while running around, you find the Dementors, and like in the Persona games, if you attack them first, you get the advantage when you start the battle. Although sometimes it doesn't really work that well. So we battle, level up. So we finally arrive at the circus, bad guy's headquarters, and fight Mr. Creep, who turns into this. Yeah. But not to worry, generic other anime friend comes in, who looks like a lobster. Sorry, I mean Kane. Now the boss battles can be really challenging in this game, as you often have them attacking twice or pulling some gimmick, like calling in allies, taking all of their hits, and so on. But as he's a first level boss, we easily win. Thank goodness we don't have to see that face anymore. Now after this, the game teases us a new party member. Krakatawa! We meet this lady who forcibly hires us to her idol company. Oh! We're all happy that it's over. And the chapter ends. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, this is the entire story to the game in a nutshell. If you have ever watched any recent anime in your life, you will be able to guess what happens next. The game's story follows a similar structure to the Persona games, albeit way shorter. And all the characters you meet, while well designed, are just the usual generic anime tropes. You got a transfer student who likes you but won't really show it. Objection! A mysterious dude who hates your guts but is actually a nice guy once you get to know him. And a literal man-child. No! One more try! Shit! And then the densest main character this side of a 12-episode harem anime. お願いします。何? You idiot! No, I mean, he is extremely oblivious to all the advances by his childhood friend. Oh, I love you so much and I want to be— what? I can't hear you. Can you speak more clearly? I want you to take me home and I can't understand you. But don't worry, girl. Even after you throw yourself onto him, he only has eyes for the blonde transfer student. This seems familiar somehow. And to make matters worse, you can't remove him from the party. He always has to be in battle, so when you verse an enemy that has a type advantage against him, you can't do anything about it. What I'm trying to say is I don't really like the main character all too much. Oh yeah, sorry, anyway, where was I? Yes, this is still a Fire Emblem game. Right. Well, here's your biggest connection to that with Hatsune Miku. Tiki. She's in this room called the Bloom Palace, and she's the person you talk to learn new attacks. If you can stand this other horrible anime trope. Man, I really miss the English dubs. Now each high schooler has their own Fire Emblem character persona, and you can customize them with weapons from Fire Emblem. Once equipped, it slowly levels up her battle, and you learn attacks and passive skills from it, like immune to this attack type, more damage, and so on. Now once all the skills have been learned, the sword becomes mastered and pretty much just sits there doing nothing in the dungeons. After that, you should then upgrade it to the next stronger weapon. And to do that, you need Performer. Which are things dropped by enemies you defeat in a session combo. And there are a ton of weapons to use from Fire Emblem, and they all have great designs. I'm sure that you'll find one to your liking. Amazing. Now don't think the humans will be left out of the leveling up. The Dutchman's treasure! because you can obtain skills for them from Tiki, and they include things like the ability to perform session attacks from the bench. Yes, thankfully this is a turn-based game that allows all party members to pitch in, lowering the effect of being stuck with this bozo. And you will want to get this skill for everyone, as it makes battling in the late game so much more easier, since all you need is one attack targeting an enemy's weakness, and you can sit back and watch the fireworks happen.
いらっしゃいませ。
Oh yeah, here's another Fire Emblem character that managed to slip through the cracks.
毎度あり。
And here's her after midnight.
ひほー。
Okay, maybe not having a dub was a good choice.
バイバイほー。
But anyway, forget all that hoe business.
冷やかしだほー。
What I'm trying to say is that with all of this flashiness, is that my goodness, the gameplay is so fun here. The battles are so enjoyable that I actively attacked monsters to create more fights for myself. I mean, okay, take for example this dungeon. Say with other games battling in the dungeons, yeah, the gameplay is fun at first, but at some point in the long JRPG, you get sick and tired of battling enemies, so you start to avoid them. Then while getting lost in the puzzle dungeons, you get irritated when an enemy sneaks up on you. Now in situations like this, where if I'm stuck for hours on end getting frustrated at the puzzles, I would look up a guide to help me move on. But nope, not here. Due to how fun the gameplay was, I happily ran around like a madman slaying all the enemies while I searched for the answer to the puzzle. I just didn't want the dungeon to end. Well, okay, I mean it had to end at some point since you do run out of SP and need to refill it in the real world. The dungeons themselves look completely unique and always offer challenging but rewarding puzzles to progress. But just quickly, in this dungeon, make sure you have a pen and paper ready or somewhere to write stuff down. That's all I'm gonna say. Unfortunately, however, the running back to
Okay,
the
I
office
decided
also
to
leads
cut
to a
this
problem
bit
with
since
the
it was
game.
too ranty, so here's a meme instead.
Anyway, the game also did a thing that Nintendo consoles rarely do, and it crashed on me.
But are there side missions?
Yes, during dungeon time and in between chapters, you get to do side missions, and these resemble the social links from Persona and not the touchy thing from Fire Emblem, where you have to do something with the character to learn more about them. Yes, learn more about them. Now, for the longest time, I never did these as they were called side stories. I thought the name meant that they were optional. But no, you need to do them if you want the crazy strong moves to help you beat the game. Each side story with an ally unlocks a special move for them in battle, which can randomly activate. And they are either hilarious,
まさに味の中タンパク劇だ
or flashy as heck. And to add to that, later on you get these tag abilities at random times during your session attacks, meaning you get some more crazy nonsense. I hate the process of getting them, but I love the outcome so much. And that pretty much sums up my thoughts on the game. I hate it, and I love it. The gameplay is fun, especially during the second half, and especially with the later party members. The skills you slowly build up all come together by the end, making every battle encounter just a fun experience. The game, however, is bogged down with a predictable story, generic characters, and just no real edge to the game. There are still some moments of darkness in the story, but I think they held back on it quite a bit. Now, if you're fine with the anime and idleness of the game, that's completely okay with me. I'm just thinking that the story and premise could have been so much more.
Garugamesh!
But hey, at least the music is absolutely amazing, as many have already noted when I snuck it in my previous videos. The models look good, the presentation is still nice to gawk at, the designs for the demons are great, and you can at least see them use the Fire Emblem CGI and something apart from the medieval battles, if you're into that sort of thing. But anyway, I guess if you are one of the 20 people that have a Wii U, you might want to buy this just for the fun gameplay. I hope Nintendo port it to the Switch, which doesn't seem likely given at how poor it was received over here. But who knows, maybe they still might, and then maybe we can get a sequel with more of the amazing gameplay, but maybe a more interesting story that isn't generic. And hopefully, like the actual Persona games, they allow the main character to obtain more than one persona, so that more Fire Emblem characters can exist in the game. I mean, hey, I see you, Fire Emblem heroes, with your portal business. Don't think you can't do that here.
Oh yeah, Fire Emblem.
Well, here's a little tidbit for ya. You notice how little of it was shown in the whole story that I mentioned? Well, the last chapter is called Fire Emblem, and in this one chapter, it contains the most Fire Emblem content than in the entire game. And that's honestly a shame. It would have been more enjoyable if they maybe could have have worked it in more to the rest of the story as well. Anyway, since it is on an old console, I do recommend buying this. Oh no, wait, I don't. Because this is Nintendo, and it's 2018. This is the price of a Wii U game. What are you doing, Nintendo? Don't you know how it's supposed to work?
Trojan, RamZaes, Magnum, Sheik.